Hey everybody. Well, this subject here on grieving as my final project is really a kind of tough one for me because recently I had a friend of mine, father passed away. Uh, we're kind of going into 2 months, and I really hate to see her, uh, I guess, kind of suffer about it. But I believe she needs to get it out of her system. Her and her father was real close. She took care of him. She was his caregiver. Uh, and the hardest part for me to see is that she always says she promised him that when he went into the hospital, he would come out. And unfortunately, he didn't. And it kind of tearing her up inside that she feels like a letdown to her father because he didn't make it out of the hospital. He passed away. Uh, was nothing that she could do about it. So she's just dealing, I guess, with the guilt of letting him down and not knowing um, how to just kind of give it up, let the feelings out, and just kind of move past it because of their relationship. But I really don't know what to say, but I do talk to her, and I just tell her that as I come from a spiritual background, I always tell her that God is always in control, and it's one nothing you can do because that's His plan to begin with, and we can't alter God's plan because He already have it in writing. I was always taught that it is what it is when it comes to the Lord, and when you leave this earth, it's already written in the book. Uh, the day you will leave, and so that's what I tell her. But now, as a grieving person, what really do you say? You just want them to kind of get it out. Talking about it always helps, in my opinion, and just laying your feelings out there on the line. Uh, Whenever you're dealing with a grieving person, what's bothering them? We know what's bothering them because their loved one passed away. But some people grieve differently. Some people grieve longer than others. Some don't know what to do. Some just let time get in between and do the healing. Some can't let it go. I remember being out with her, and just as simple as sitting at the table eating, and you know how when you get through eating, you wrap your food up to go. Uh, she busted out in tears because she says she always takes her food back to the house and give it to her father. Uh, just as something as simple and plain as that. Uh, what do you do? So I just try to be there for a person and let them talk it out and tell them it's going to be all right and hold their hand. I keep a kind of a close eye on them just in case because sometimes grieving can take a person the other direction, and depending on how strong they are, um, you know, lucid thoughts might come into their head. You never know. Not saying my friend is like that, but just in general. And you just want to be there and hold a hand and be there for them. Uh, Time heals everybody, I believe. And as the time goes on, uh, they will get better. Counting myself, I was in a situation where I'm either going to sink or swim when my mother passed away. It's what you're going to do. And so maybe I didn't grieve uh, properly and just work right through it. And oh, I miss her to this day, but there's nothing I can do to change that. Uh, I can just be at peace with myself, with the situation. And I think that's the most biggest part that you can do is be at peace with yourself. She has to realize, I believe, that it was God's plan and not hers. You have no control over that. That's when you pray for serenity on something you can't control, and you just have to move forward and move forward the best you can, and hopefully you heal. You never forget, and you always keep the memories of what's going on. And that's my advice with anybody. I really enjoyed this class. It taught me a lot about how putting your feelings down and take care of the business at hand, and always have a spot for people to grieve and just to talk and just to be that ear that they need during the time of bereavement. It's been a very interesting course because I've learned a lot of things. Uh, I'm not afraid to step out and listen to people and talk to them and try to bring them closure also of their loved one that's passing away as a funeral director. Because sometimes you just need that extra friend. And hey, that's me. Uh, Thank you and have a good evening.